Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Miles, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Hope that you're having a fabulous Thursday. You know what today is. Are you ready for some football? But before we get to that, we want to send out peace and condolences to Queen Elizabeth and her family. She passed away today. And I also would be remiss if I didn't send out du'as to the family and my NOI family on the passing of Sister Ava Muhammad. I might have mentioned it before, but I make sure that I remind everybody that a great spirit has left us as well. In fact, she was celebrated in Chicago over the weekend. So just want to make sure everybody understand that. That's number one. Number two is we're so glad to have you back. You know that it is football season, so I am extremely happy to get some football back. I'm tired of women's field hockey. I'm tired of cornhole. I'm tired of frisbee. I'm tired of all that stuff. I need some football. So thank you, NFL. I might not thank you for anything else, NFL, but please give me my games. I may complain about everything from head injuries to contracts to morals, but I'm like everybody else. I still need my football. I'm just telling on myself here, brothers and sisters. All right, so listen. Today's topic is something that has been bandied about. I've been talking with several people about this probably for about the last 3-4 months. We have these discussion groups sometimes early in the morning after Fajr, and there's just the title should tell you a little bit what we're going to talk about today, which is, and Sister Satan has let me know that CNN broadcaster, pioneer broadcaster Bernard Shaw has passed away today as well. I didn't see that. Thanks so much for letting me know, Satana. As a journalism graduate from Marquette University, Bernard Shaw was somebody who I did watch during I want to say the birth or the growth of CNN as it became a 24-hour network. And he was one of those people along with Max Robinson. We've heard me talk about Max Robinson and his journalistic contribution, the National Association of Black Journalists, of which I was a part of at one point in time. We celebrated these pioneers, so I want to make sure I do that as well. But today's topic might be a little bit personal for everybody. For everybody, self included. We've all been in situations where we led with our hearts and our spirits and our goodwill and good intentions to help others. We've extended ourselves to see the best in others without reward, without compensation. And what we find is essentially we get burned. Essentially, we find ourselves paying for decisions we made to be good towards people, to be fair seeming towards people, to be charitable and generous towards people. And we find that it's not appreciated. And though we, as religious people, in many regards, say that our reward comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our reward comes from God, there's still an emotional stain, if you will. There's something that hurts when you put yourself in this place whereby you've led with that spirit. And the merits of your actions, it's not that you didn't get the return or you're not even looking for that. It's that it is something that's done now to your detriment. I'm going to talk about that at length today. I feel like I'm in a space where I can speak about it. The title should tell you what we're going to talk about today. So why are good guys and girls finishing last? There was always a quotient that good guys finish last. And we used to say that all the time. You know, good guys finish last, good girls finish last. But I want to say in the last couple of years, it's become a bit of a anathema. It becomes a little bit of a reality that good in many regards It's not enough to be good, to be charitable, to be generous. It's not enough in this world of people who are a world of sycophants, of people who are manipulative, of people who are predatory. And I want to talk about how it is we change that dynamic a little bit. Is it that we become a little bit emotionally and spiritually tougher? I don't know. But I believe it needs to be put out on the table because we're issuing out or dealing with a generation behind us that see us put ourselves out there for the good. Our children, the ones that come behind us, see us go out on great causes, see us go out and sacrifice. And they see us continually getting burned. They see us in positions whereby we are in compromised positions, not because of who we are, what we believe, but who we're engaged with. So today I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to ask the question continually, why are good guys and girls finishing last here on the ShOUT Show? We'll be right back. All right. Now, before we get into our topic today, I want to definitely welcome everybody. We've been having some good conversations. A lot of people coming into the chat. We appreciate you stopping in and spend some time on our platform. I want to show you who the stars in the building are right on the top of our show. Let's go ahead and get them in here. This is Sister Ree. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sister Ree, hopefully that you are doing well, having a fabulous day. Yourself, Derek, Jawan, I hope everybody's having an awesome day. Thank you so much for joining us here on the SOS. Next up, Mama San, Mary Ma saying, have a great day, SOS family. I saw my mom call. I think she found that link, though. Thank you so much for joining us, Mom. We always appreciate you. What's the world without Mama San and Preacher Monster's world? It's a dark world. Well, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To you, Mama San, appreciate you as always. Next up, Altaf Rashid, better known as Mr. 6 o'clock. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brother. Thank you so much for joining us on the platform. As you normally do, you are one of our day ones to the SOS. If there was stock I could give out, a bunch of you guys will have stock in the SOS. And if we ever get to that point, I'm going to make sure you get some stock. How about that? He's better known as our special envoy to the SOS for the country of Canada. He hails from Toronto. He's here every day, just trying to make sure the quality control is good. Thank you so much, Altaf. Nice to see you. Next up, my big brother, Bilal Salahuddin, and his queen, Sister Sonia Salahuddin, joining us. I don't know if he had a little man with you today, but thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. People, this is a very open topic. We need to start talking about some of these things just as an emotional release. So we're going to be talking about, again, why are good guys and good girls finishing last. We're going to talk about that. But Bilal, thank you so much for tuning in. You will always appreciate on the show, big brother and big sister. Thank you so much. Next up, my dear brother, my beloved brother, JT. What's going on, Johnny L. Thomas? Thank you so much, man, for your generosity and taking me around yesterday. If I didn't say it yesterday, I'm saying it now. I appreciate you, beloved. Thank you so much. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As always, peace and blessings to you and the Thomas family. Thank you so much. Next up, my main man, Eric Carter. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, beloved. I saw your picture on Facebook, man. I put a funny little thing down there. Thank you so much for joining us on the platform, man. We appreciate you. If I haven't said it one day, I'm going to say it all the other days. We appreciate everybody that comes in and makes this show exactly what it is. Next up, talking about making the show what it is, our consultant producer, wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Tana Whitfield, working the ones and twos, brothers and sisters, working the ones and twos, and we do appreciate her. Thank you so much, Sister Tana, for making this thing work. And we have a special thing that we're going to show towards the end of the program. You know, everybody, that we did a comedy special in Washington, D.C., Preacher Moss and Us Up presents. It was the Muslim Comedy Festival. It was an amazing night. I'm happy to say, as I have threatened in the past, it's no longer a threat. We actually have the first trailer for this program, and we're going to show it here on the ShOUT Show. We're going to premiere here on the ShOUT Show. The comedy special itself will be released on Friday. So let me get my information about that. But we got the trailer, and I'm very happy for what we put together. All praise is due to Allah. That's the way I'm gonna frame it up. All praise is due to Allah. Everybody that worked on the project, everybody that prayed for the project, everybody that came out to support the project, whether you bought a ticket, whether you bought your body, the camera crew, Mustafa Davis coming from Istanbul. This was a blessed thing. Sister Tana took the train down, if you will, from New Jersey to be there and make sure that this thing stayed on the tracks. Shout out to Sister Tana, because there were a lot of things in the background you guys will not see in this special. But alhamdulillah, we pulled it together. And in the end, we have a piece of art that I'm very, very proud of. Okay. Let's get to the point. Let's get to our topic today. Why are good guys and girls finishing last? Let me give you a background of why I'm talking about this. I talked to a very good friend of mine, Muslim brother. We've been knowing each other, I want to say the better part of 18, 19 years. He called me about a month ago, and he's very down. He's very upset. And I kind of asked him, what is going on? His spirit was low. It's literally what he told me. He said, my spirit is low. And I said, well, brother, what are we doing? And he recounted something that I had actually spoken to him about, but I had forgotten about it. His younger brother, had gotten into some legal trouble. And let's be honest, his younger brother been in legal trouble a lot over the years while I've known him. That's not the point. Here was the point. He had gotten into a legal jam, whereby to be released from prison on bail, his mother had to put up his house. His mother had to put up her house. And there was a lot of consternation about whether it should be done just based on his prior behavior. If it was me, I probably wouldn't have put up my house. I'm going to just say that. I can't talk about a mother's love for her child. I know my brother, my Muslim brother, was very, very upset, and he was nervous. He was like, she's older, she's leaving with her heart, And I said, well, man, we can't do that. She do the same for you. He said, yes, but this is different. She doesn't know my brother like I know my brother. And I was like, I know, but we had to believe. And I did everything the Muslim's supposed to do. Man, we got to pray. We got to do this. We got to do that. Got to make 99 excuses. We did all this stuff. And she still put the house up. He jumped bail. They couldn't find him. He didn't call. And long story short, eventually she lost the house. What was difficult was that he had invested a lot to help his mother keep the house. So it wasn't just her loss of the house. It was her loss of security, his peace of mind that his mother had a place to stay. You can put a whole lot of things on that. Ironically, about 3 years after he jumped bail, he shows up back in town. And he and I were together, and we saw him, and he walked up as if nothing was wrong. He walked up as if there wasn't a problem that his mother was now living with his brother because he jumped bail and she lost her house. And I looked to the brother and I looked to his younger brother and I said, well, I don't know where we are with this thing. I'm not in your family. I can only give you, and see how, from my point of view, I can only give you some basic advice because I don't know the dynamics of your brother. And I saw my Muslim brother trying to work it out emotionally, spiritually. And he asked point blank, why did you jump bail when you knew mama would lose her house? And he replied, well, you know how I am. He said, that's her fault. She knew how I am. And immediately after that, a fist came across my face as such. And I want to say it probably took 3/4 of the state of Maryland to pull him off of his younger brother. That was a whooping that should have been on YouTube. The police were called. That's how bad the whooping was. Now, as I sat with my brother and we negotiated where he wouldn't be taken to jail by the police, we had black policemen. And I told the policeman, this is a story. The policeman was like, I'd have just shot him. I was like, that's why you're a policeman. But as I sat here with my brother, I realized that he was depressed. That he was overall saddened by the fact that even if his brother treated him poorly, he definitely wouldn't treat his mother poorly. He would never put his mother in a situation where she'd be compromised. And he said something that resonated. He said, I'm tired of doing good things and coming in last. He said, I'm tired of doing good things and coming in last. And what he was saying was, coming in last is not what I'm trying to. I'm not in a race. He said, I'm not in a race. He said, my spiritual foundation, my religious foundation speaks to the fact that I have to protect my mother, but I have to protect my brother. He says, I'm tired of doing things knowing at the end of the day that this is the behavior that's going to come. That the power of these people who are meritless, soulless, amoral, you throw whoever. He said the power of these people becomes more and more compelling as we go through life. Everyone here probably has a story of someone you helped, someone who reached out to you in their most desperate need, and you were in a situation where you really couldn't help them, but somehow deep down inside you dug a space for yourself where you're trying to help these people. And at the point where you get them to a situation scenario whereby they should be self-sustaining, it's not even giving back, brothers and sisters, but at some point in time, they take the knife that you use for them to cut bread and they stab you in the back. And I have to be honest, it hurts. It hurts to work in the space and the meaning and the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, following the hadith of the prophets. May Allah be pleased with the Prophet Muhammad. May Allah be pleased with him. Peace and blessings be upon him. It hurts to be in the space of people who are, let's not say not even believers, but I'm saying people who know good from wrong and choose the bad. They choose the wrong. And they position themselves to do the wrong, knowing that in your heart of hearts, you're trying to do the right thing. I'm going to be honest with you. In the Muslim community, the biggest bullies are not the Islamophobes. The biggest bullies are Muslims who manipulate, who push you towards this requiem of religiosity for their own benefit. So that you feel bad somehow that you can't help them. And it's so deep that they would rather have you serve them than serve your God. That the pipeline has to go to them first and then to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's scary. It's scary. And what's happening, in the last couple of months is people have a certain type of spiritual desperation now. Like we pull ourselves back. Like many times we're inundated of help me, to the point that we don't help ourselves. That we move from the love of ourselves to the love of ideas, to the love of help. And I have to say this, finishing last means that somehow you had to see yourself as first. Think about this. To see yourself as last, somehow you have to see yourself as first. Let me explain what I'm saying. Why don't we take a break right here? I'm going to explain what I'm saying. Satana, let's take this out and bring us back. Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear? I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear don't get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe. And your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now is the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right. So we left this thing off about finishing last. And what that means is, in this discussion, when you finish last, in some regards, it's that you put your own self-interest last. That the people that you engage with, if you will, in some regards, in their mind, maybe they played us to be spiritual suckers. Knowing that this love of this religion, this love of this God over here, when we have our hearts attached, somehow that can be manipulated for their own gain. As I talked to my brother after he beat up his brother, he said, I'm tired of this. Because in a soulless world, in an amoral world, that, let's be honest, it's a drain. It is a drain to be good. It is a drain to be, I want to say, God conscious for around people who are not God conscious. It's a drain to be charitable around people who are not charitable. It's a drain to share around people who don't share. I'm not saying it stops us, but let's be honest. It does drag us down. We can say it's shaitan and things like that, but it does play on your mind. I remember I was with JT outside of a comedy club one time in Milwaukee. Plain and simple. I was with JT. It was a club downtown. He and I were outside after the show had gone on. A guy walked around. He gave us this really, really strong story about how his family was suffering and struggling and he needed help. And we watched people reach into their pockets to give this man his money. Now, this is important. We didn't ask, where's your family? We gave it to him. And as we sat out there another hour and a half, running our mouths, the same guy came back around and asked us. And we had to go, wait a minute. An hour and some change ago, you just asked us for money. And you know what he did? Oh, yeah. And he walked off. Now, there was a short consensus that we're going to go get our money, or we're going to snatch this guy up to see if he really had a family that was in a car someplace, or he was just playing us. And maybe that is the thing about finishing last, that when people play, it's competitive. It's like chess and checkers. People are moving and position themselves to get what they want. But the whole aspect of the spiritual realm that's tied into our emotional reality, sometimes it does hurt. It bothers us that people play on our emotional sensitivities. They play on our generosity. And I say, why are good guys and good girls finishing last? Here's the answer. Because we have to change ourselves. I'm not saying be mean, but we have to be more rigorous when we ask questions about their intentions or other people's intentions. We have to vet them a little bit. The same guy that came around after that, we should have probably said, we're going to walk with you to make sure that your people are all right. We're not saying you're lying, but we're going to walk with you because we're concerned, right? Maybe we need to be a little bit more diligent. I remember I was in the masjid and the brother said, you a new Muslim? I said, yes, sir. He asked me for $30. I said, $30? Like, who keep $30? and he whipped out this ayat from the Quran about if you're a real Muslim, you want for your brother what you want for yourself. And I said, well, I want you to have a tic tac because your breath is kicking. What's my point, though? My point is we have to ask questions that we can't allow people to strategically play on. And it's not naivete. We trust people. The reason my friend beat up his brother is because, you know what? There was a trust that was broken. I'm not saying beat up people, but you know what? Let's elevate. Let's make people more meritorious in terms of how they earn our trust. Let's not just be free giving. Ask questions. You know, in any other situation, we do that. So I'm going to employ, and I'm going to, on other shows, I'm going to say, you know what? You're going to have to earn my trust. You're going to have to earn my generosity. You know, you're going to have to earn that space. Maybe we're not an open book anymore. Maybe we have chapters before you get to the true self of who we are. I think it's honest. You know, we as religious believers believe that, you know, you have to work for the rewards and good favor of our Lord. You have to do that. You just ain't going to give it to you. It's there, but you got to earn it. Maybe we just need to make people earn it a little bit more, you know, because people are looking at us like we are indeed sometimes spiritual suckers. So maybe we should end that space of being spiritual suckers and be a lot more introspective and asking crucial questions about who you are, what you are, your intentions. And before I even believe that, I want to see your body of work. I want to resume all the people you've engaged with. So we're not dealing with brothers beating up brothers over the loss of a house. We're talking about we have now an educated understanding of who we are dealing with, their intentions and their tendencies. Okay. So I would like to end the show there. And I would like to proudly, and let me throw this out here.
I know y'all better make some noise.
This is the next greatest thing in Muslim comedy. This is Preacher Mars. Go ahead, Satana. You can run it. Comedy Festival and produced by ShOUT, the newest Muslim streaming service. Because you know Muslims don't pay for any cable. That's haram.
Immigrant households have 4 children. American households have 4 parents.
I do love my white women. I take them everywhere with me when I travel. I'm like, somebody will look for us because you're here, Ashley.
There's 6 of us. I'm the 6th child. So they just took off their shoe and they were like, hey, it could happen anytime.
What? I love the non-Muslims because they put everything in Jesus' name, don't they? I got a ghetto cousin who literally put his cable bill in Jesus' name.
She said, in the unlikely event of an emergency evacuation, will you be willing and able to assist us?
I'm going to be the first one off the plane.
Come follow this Negro to freedom.
I'm Preacher Mars. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. All right. I want to give a shout out to Sohaib Ali. I want to give a shout out to Romy Rome. I want to give a shout out to everybody that was working over there. Brother Harrison, everybody made this thing possible on the production side of the game. Mustafa Davis came over from Istanbul. We had a crack production team that came out of New York. It was an amazing night. And I think the thing that made it best was we were all in the space of people wanting to enjoy themselves and engage in some type of excellence. We wanted to see some type of excellence. And when this comes out, I want everybody to be proud of it. Everybody in the Shout Out Show, whether you know it or not, I want you to know that you contributed to this comedy special. For myself to be able to come on here and speak and we talk and we engage, it gave me a broader perspective in terms of how I do my stand-up, how I engage people, what it looks like to be on something for 30 minutes and be able to talk and express myself in a very, very sincere way. It doesn't happen like that. And we have come out of, let's be honest, people, we came out of COVID together. We started in COVID, we came out of COVID together. And this is just a beautiful outgrowth of just, I want to say, fellowship, care, understanding, and everybody just on the page just want to see the excellence in one another. So shout out to the comedians that took part in it. Athea Yaqub, Moses the Comic, Azim Muhammad, Sister Yasmin Hadi, and of course your brother, myself, and my main man, Usman Habib. So listen, that's our show today. You guys have been amazing. Let let me frame this. I say, why good guys and girls finishing last? Let me say this. We don't finish last all the time. We finish where Allah wants us to be. So let me correct that before I send everybody out. Okay? So be great, be awesome. We'll see you on Monday. Have an excellent weekend. Inshallah, keep us in your du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Preacher Moss, the Shout Out Show. See you Monday.